Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Invitational closed qualifiers. I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Rams, fresh off his trip from Vegas. Rams, how you doing tonight?
I'm feeling great. Not really. I'm actually kind of hungover, but I think this is still going to be really fun, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for contacting me pretty much last minute.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I mean, I did contact you like before you went to Vegas, but I mean, it's whatever, you know. But either way, we're gonna have the Soniqs and Senshi here. Gonna be going in a best of 3, as we're just waiting for the Soniqs to get readied up before we go ahead and start off the night. As
Do we have all 3 maps in our do we know what all 3 maps are right now or
yes, exclamation point maps in chat. It's Coastline, which was picked by Senshi, Villa, which was picked by the Soniqs, and we have our decider of Clubhouse. And we're gonna get right into things as both teams are readied up. So we will be heading right into Coastline here. Good luck, have fun. What are your thoughts here? First map coming up. It's going to be Coastline, so it's a frag-heavy map. This should be interesting, I hope.
Well, since this is Senshi's pick, obviously they have to feel confident on this map. They were just able to watch Soniqs play at the USN on this map a couple of times, so they should have plenty of knowledge as to how Soniqs play this map. I also do think that Soniqs can be underrated, especially when you watch them play against pro teams and then you go up against them yourself as not professional or not even in CL teams, and you underestimate how good they can actually be. Obviously, what we saw at USN, they were very coordinated. They just happened to go up against teams that were more coordinated and had been a team for longer in the sense of SSG. But when it comes to the rest of the maps, I think that Soniqs have a huge advantage. Villa is by far their best map, and we've seen them play on Clubhouse, and they're pretty good there too. So Senshi's got got their work cut out for them.
Yeah, and I mean, Senshi isn't even like a CL team or like any they're a tier 3 team basically. Oh, excuse me. They're a tier 3 team, so there's not going to be a lot of VODs on this team. So the Soniqs more than likely are going to be going into this relatively cold, not really knowing what to expect. But going right off the bans, is the Soniqs banning the Nomad? That means that they're going to be wanting to get very aggressive on their own defenses. It's curious that they would ban that against a team like Senshi, because a team that you don't really know about, you might expect them to play a little bit aggro, aggressive. So it's definitely a choice that doesn't make a lot of sense at first glance, but definitely gonna have to keep the eye out for that one.
It's possible that Soniqs don't even if they're gonna ban Nomad, they'll just run Gridlock instead. Gridlock does bring extra utility in the terms of like the way that you just go smokes, you go for a plant. Obviously, Jackal is on the board as well, probably to try to throw Senshi off when they're on their defense, just try to keep them pinned down just long enough for Soniqs to maybe surround them and pinch them on the roam if they're gonna roam. The Valkyrie pick, 6th pick by Sly, is a good pick, I'd say. I think that even though, IQ is being brought by Soniqs, it's going to be important for Super to really be doing his job. But as he's IGLing and calling the shots for his team, he might, he might not ever be in a position to really look for Valkyrie cameras unless his teammates call out the areas they see Valkyrie running around, and they're trying to take control of those areas specifically. But as we get into this first round, we're just going to have to see what, I think that the real question mark is what Senshi have in store for us.
Yeah, it looks like Neptune's already kind of asleep at the wheel here, as it's going to be the Jackal coming out. So the Jackal being left unbanned is definitely interesting. You'll normally see that get banned quite often, but I do agree with the Capitao and Nomad ban. I think those are 2 strong operators on this map. Is we're going to already see Cobra going off of the board here. That's your Jaeger off the board. I mean, it's not the biggest kill, so it's not going to really impact this defense, as the rest of this attack is coming down from the bottom floor. So taking control of this Nitro cell potential. As Gonfi's actually got a nice angle here all the way to the Cool Vibe steps. He can just hold this rotate for the rest of his team.
That angle.
That's a nice, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, this the first time I saw it was actually over the weekend, and once I saw it, I was like, okay, that's put one to put in the strat book. I'm keeping that one. Sly getting taken down, and then Karma, or Kardama, I'm sorry,
Yes,
takes out
Kardama.
Neptunes right afterwards. The stream isn't lagging for me. It looks good. I'm not used to the names, you know,
All good, all good.
from Senshi. Goddess looking like she wants to go for an Aqua Plant, and she definitely has the utility to do it, opening the big window so that her teammate can repel up and give her some more cover, but she's just going to have to wait. No Nitro Cells from below is probably going to happen, but there is still, you know, smoke on the board. Smoke could still, you know, keep her off the diffuse for a while if the defenders can outlast the Sonics in the way that they push, but I'm under the impression that the Sonics are about to go for an early execute, in which case, you know, all of those smokes are going to end up being, you know, utilized pretty quickly. Kardama is in a position to flank, but is stopped by the track stingers at the moment, and is just waiting and biding his time for the perfect moment to strike.
Yeah, just waiting for that perfect opportunity. There are going to be gridlocks in the way as the plant's actually starting to come down from Goddess. Super with a nice pick there on the hookah balcony as the plant will be successful from Goddess. So it's a 4v2 here. With the diffuser in play, it's going to have to be a retake here from these last two defenders. Kardama coming in through Kitchen is going to get shut down by Slevin. That's going to leave this all up to Yoji on the smoke. He will find one kill. That's going to be Slevin taken out, but he's going to have to find three more. One on the rappel and one inside of Hookah. It's going to be Gomfi on the upside down rappel to find the last frag of the round. An excellent attack here to start things out on Cosine.
Yep, that was a good start for the Sonics. I think that the early pick really hurt Senshi, and obviously, you know, first round, like the first pick of every round is gonna lead to, you know, a huge advantage for the attackers, especially when they have a lot more experience in your team. Obviously, Sonics took control below very, very quickly, cutting off a lot of rotations. And it seemed like Senshi didn't really have a plan once all those rotations were cut off, and they were kind of just sitting ducks in general areas, peeking out at times that, not that they shouldn't be peeking, but they should know that they can't peek those angles just because of the way that Sonics were attacking. Obviously, not a lot of pressure being applied directly to the site, except for the Aqua side, but there wasn't really any opposition. We didn't see any bullet holes or anything being utilized to try to stop that plant. No intel to actually be used to, like, give the call out that the plant's going down. Like, and the only example I can give of that is Murdy was peeking towards Hookah Balk when the plant was going down. If you know the plant's going down, you know that's not really where you want to be putting your focus. That's just meant to cut off your rotation towards Aqua anyway. It's just little things like that. You can tell that, like, information was not on the side of Senshi during that round.
No, they definitely didn't have the intel they needed, and that first pick going to Gomfi, that was a pretty big pick. I mean, you definitely don't want to lose any operators that early on in the round, especially a Jaeger who is more than likely going to be the fragger on your lineup. It's never a good thing to give away a life freely like that. So look to see a little bit more discipline here in round number 2, as we're going to be seeing yet again this west side take. It seems like the Sonics are adamant about taking from this west side. It's definitely a very viable side to attack from, based on, like, no matter where the site is, because you can always just take in through office and then push in through the bars, or even down through security office. It looks like that's what Sleben is going to be doing here, as he finds the footprints of the Mozzie player. That's going to be Kardama, who has been rotated all the way up to the top floor.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, like you were saying, if you take control of the office and blue bar and sunrise, and you put someone at the top of blue stairs, you can't get flanked. There's no flank anymore at that point. So that's pretty much what Sonic's plan is. They're just waiting and biding their time, taking control of certain areas, making sure they can't get flanked, and then that's what's happening right now. Gomfi taking control of Hookah takes control of the top of Cool Vibe, like I said. So any of the defenders playing upstairs are now nullified. If any of the Sonics players rotate to kitchen window from this point, they'll be able to effectively try to go for a plant. They won't necessarily need any more information or position than that. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how the rest of the round puts out. Gomfi with a nice little wall bang onto Slippery right there. Through the wall, waiting, biding his time. Slippery obviously walking into that a little prematurely. Kardama is going to be looking around the map just to see if there's any attackers roaming out of position on their own, but it doesn't seem to be the case at the moment, as the attackers have effectively surrounded and taken control of the areas they want, and now can just decide if they want to go for a plane or not, now having a man advantage. One of the roaming defenders will have to come back to site if they want to even hold off a push. Neptune's looking like he wants to walk right into kitchen and is going to go for a plan, just running all the way across. Distraction all around the map, making sure that they don't really know what's happening. One smoke canister was thrown, another smoke canister being thrown by Jackal into the hallway. Gompy holding up from the window, and now Slevin in firm control. I don't know why the plant hasn't actually been put down yet. Neptune seems to be biding his time and waiting, and now here we go, finally, and he just pulls off of it again. Not seeming why, but Super is locking down a rotation from main lobby as Neptune's does get pushed by Yoji, and is going to get picked up. Kardama with the kill onto Goddess, and he's still getting hurt by the smoke canister. Is going to have to push around into the service entrance area, and it's now going to be planting in the corner. Super now still in a fight, trying to make sure this defender can't come back to site, but he's going to lose the fight. Cobra now could go for a flank, but Slevin is watching this rotation through the main lobby. He should get picked off here unless he's completely looking the wrong direction. It looks like he might have just accidentally slipped past him. Slevin is still trying to hold the flank as Neptune's is really, really weak in sight. Slevin will win that fight onto Cobra. Kardama throwing a C4, trying to open up the wall, give himself a little bit more of a vantage point. Neptune's is waiting hard to his left. Does he know about it? He's going to win the fight. He could go for the defuse. He could trap himself in that corner and go for it, but Slevin needs to wait for those sound cues from the diffuser being placed. Kardama looks like he wants to challenge him directly. Does he know he's in the courtyard? He could go for it. Doesn't quite know where the diffuser is either. He's just trying to chase him down, gets caught in the rotate hole, and Slevin wins out the fight onto Kardama. That was a very close round, but Soniqs were never really in any real danger, I felt like.
Nah, I agree. I think that the Soniqs did a great job of trading the deaths that they did have, and there was really nothing that Senshi was able to grab onto in that round, you know, like... Yeah, they were able to deny the diffuser for a while. An excellent job on the smoke player of Yoji to deny that plant, but ultimately the Zofia of Neptune's was able to get the frag onto the smoke and then rotate in through service and get the diffuser down. So I feel like if they were able to deny that diffuser and get the kill, the frag onto that carrier in Neptune's, I think that round could have gone a lot differently, but ultimately, that's just not how the cookies crumbled, and that's going to be the second round in a row here, starting things off for the Soniqs. There was some doubts. In my opinion, I thought that this would have been one of the more competitive matches, so this is Senshi's map pick, so I expect them to pick things up a little bit here, especially as they rotate to attack, as I do believe that attack is the more favored site for both of these teams, as they both picked it for their respective starting rounds. Like the Soniqs picked it to start on at the beginning of the game. They picked attack, and Senshi has picked it to start on defense. So definitely attack Senshi.
I think that Senshi knew that the plant was going down, and that's what was like you were saying. Like Yoji's smoke play was obviously stopping Neptune's from planting as soon as he wanted to. He was getting slightly pressured there, but Soniqs are doing such a good job at locking down certain angles and positions so quickly that even though Senshi knew that Neptune was in that corner trying to plant, Yoji was throwing smokes and trying to challenge and stop it, there really wasn't anything that Senshi could do, and I feel like they were hesitating just a little bit. I feel like they needed to figure out, okay, like which way do we want to try to retake from? We have to retake even though the plant's not down. We have to set up as if we're going to try to retake the site, so let's, you know, go back to our game plan and figure out how we want to actually do this. Do we want to try to flank above and make holes like from above and pressure the kitchen window that way and try to throw the smokes and figure it out? It's just really, they're in a really difficult spot, you know, like going against a team like Soniqs who are they take control so fast, you just don't really know what to do. But I like this hold coming out with Cobra and Kardama trying to hold them off from the office, even though some of the holes have been open. The Soniqs are having issues now, even though there is a drone directly on them. I think that, you know, Slevin with this nice drone placement could get a double, but no, it's actually going to get turned on by Cobra, and I like them actually trying to actively hold off the Soniqs push at the moment.
Yeah, ultimately a nice drone there from Slevin allows him to get 2 kills and almost dies to the second, but it's going to be that quick save from Gomphy as it's Goddess find the third on the round. It's going to leave things all up to Slippery and Murdy. So the Legion and the Maestro, definitely the operator that you want to have in a clutch situation is that Maestro with the 81 round mag. And As some more drones come in, it's going to be Murdy here. Going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place with all of these operators. He's going to try to go for this fight, though, on to the Cool Vibe stairs. That's Super there, just biding his time, waiting for the push to come to him. As he's just waiting. This is a perfectly played here. He's just waiting for this plant to start to go down. Slippery will find one. That's actually the planter of Goddess, so... And a 4v2 here as the push starts to come up the Cool Vibe stairs. Murdy will find a second, but it's Super there for the trade. Just one last defender. Do they know where Slippery is, though? Looks like he's biding his time all the way inside of the aquarium, but Super with a double on the round. He'll trade out his fallen teammate. Another round on the board for the Soniqs, and it's looking like they're starting to run away with this on attack.
Yeah. Once it was a 2v5, unfortunately for Senshi, the defenders were too spread out to actually cover each other. They would have had to win multiple gunfights in a row, and against a team like Soniqs, they are going to trade you out. As you can see, even when Super was walking up the Cool Vibe stairs, like, yes, he's just holding a flank rotation pretty much, but once he starts pushing up the staircase, and Murdy playing Maestro was challenging the hookah doorway, he just comes up the stairs and shoots him, and even if Slippery had been there to try to trade out Super, Slebin was right behind him, so the round was pretty much lost at that point. Like, Senshi need to, I guess, I'm just trying to think, like, what can they really do here? It's like Soniqs are just taking such firm map control so quickly, and as we can see, even when they try to challenge the attackers coming into the building, they're getting picked off because of the information that the attackers have in the form of the drones. It's they're really they're in a really bad spot at the start of this. Like, they need to win a round. They need to get a round win under their belt, kind of rally back and figure out, what are we going to do on the rest of our defenses, because they need to win at least 2 if they want to have any chance of winning this map.
Yeah, they definitely need to win something here on their defensive side if they want any chance of any logical chance, of coming back, because it's definitely possible that they could come back from 6-0, but it's not very likely. It's gonna be a very tough feat to try to overcome, and it definitely with a team like the Soniqs, you don't see them slowing down. I mean, they're a veteran team with a lot of very strong players, so not gonna see them make too many mistakes here as they're going to start to make this attack happen in round number 4. And it's again the same attack, and again we're going to be seeing a quick and early frag from the Soniqs. They've gotten the first pick in almost every single round here, and that's not only an operator on the defense, but that's your Maestro. That's a big pick onto a very support-heavy operator, or a very utility-relying operator. So Cobra already taking some damage as well. He's going to get a few stim pistols from his boy Slippery as he's going to continue to take this fight against Gomphy. But actually, Cobra, he'll win the gunfight against the Jackal, and it looks like they're just going to get the hell out of dodge here, and they're going to rotate all the way away from office, and they're just going to give that away to this attack. I think it's a smarter decision, because this attack is coming pretty strong for that office, and don't really want to lose any more members of your defense. You have the man count even. Definitely want to get away with your winnings when you can,
Yeah, winning the fight there on to Slebin is a big deal. They have even up the man count, like you said, but the attacker that they took out isn't really that big of an attacker in terms of the Soniqs attack and what they're trying to accomplish. Yes, Jackal can be useful in a lot of situations, but he has been nerfed, and Maestro being obviously the much more important operator for the defenders. Neptune's sort of wasting his utility here, trying to just at least open a wall or another line of sight for him to utilize while he's outside on the hookah balcony. He is being, passively pressured by the defenders, waiting for him to peek, but he's not going to. Gomphy playing up on this double window. This is how Yoji has died every single time, and Super actually going to get taken down by Cardama. So, nice pick from him, going to safely solidify Cool Vibe stairs as a rotation for his team if they so choose to utilize it. Yoji needs to stay alive as long as possible, and that player on upside down on the hookah window needs to be removed. They can effectively remove Gomphy, who's actually moved himself. He's actually going to take down Slippery. Nice peek by him. No coverage from the rest of his teammates. He's kind of left on an island known with his position completely known. Cardama with another onto Gomphy. He's coming up huge for his team this round. So as of right now, Goddess and Neptunes need to formulate exactly where they want to push. Cardama with the C4 underneath, probably going to stop the plant from going down. The plant does get stopped by Cardama with a triple for the round. Neptunes now has to push through hookah and pick up these last 3 frags, which is nigh impossible as he does get downed. And Cobra finishes off for his team, and Senshi finally put a round under their belt by just directly challenging the Soniqs and contesting their map control.
Yep, definitely a much better round for the defense there, and I feel like it had to do with not losing those members inside of Office early on. You know, they kept both of them alive. They did lose the Maestro pretty quickly, and that was definitely a detriment to their team. But keeping those two members alive, not only the Nitrocell on the Mozzie, but that Jaeger as well, it definitely improved their odds of winning the round. Because you saw that Mozzie, Kardama was able to re-rotate downstairs and able to get 2 frags out of it. One with the Nitrocell and one just through that sunrise window, looking over towards the double window of the billiards room. So definitely a much better round there from Senshi, and I look to see that they're going to try to turn this around now, as they're going to be now going down to the kitchen. So they've gone here once before, and it resulted in that plant just inside of service. But Yoji did an excellent job with those smoke canisters. Look for him to do a little bit of the same here in this round, and hopefully pray that the rest of his team is able to pick up the pieces around him, as, I mean, they kind of need to win this round here and at least guarantee the 4-2 half.
Yeah, if they can win this round, I feel like it's going to be, the reason for it is just the gaining of confidence. Obviously, we're seeing some round-to-round adaptations from Senshi to try to stop Soniqs. And pretty much, you know, the beginning of the round, last round, and the few rounds before, Soniqs have been attacking the same way every time, and this gives Senshi a chance to understand how the attack is working and what's important about it. The big points about it from what we saw last round, if Soniqs lose someone during the first round of that attack, they do back off. They don't fight hard for that map control, but they do fight to try to get picks and to cut off rotation angles that defenders commonly occupy. So obviously, if Senshi can keep their operators alive for a while and kind of whittle the Soniqs down, they have obviously a much better chance at that point. The Soniqs, though, probably won't be phased by losing that last round. Obviously, Kardama and Cobra played the round very well, got lots of picks. Other than that, the Soniqs have been doing a great job at picking off the early defensive anchors, and if they continue that trend, the Senshi are always going to be at a disadvantage no matter what the man count is.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Looks like the entry is already coming in through Sunrise, and a little bit of a hold up top, as it looks like Goddess is just going to play that. I'm just going to sit on the roof the entire round and see what picks I can't get. Cobra here holding on to the 90 hallway. Can go for these gridlock traps, and we'll destroy a few of them, but not destroying that main one is going to allow for a few more to be created and allow for a little bit of denial of the hallway. I mean, there's still plenty of room to get past those traps, so I'm not really too worried about Cobra, my apologies, making that rotate. But
yeah, there's definitely still plenty of room for them. You just cut out for me. I have no idea if you're still talking.
Oh,
you muted yourself
yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad. I muted myself again. I was just trying to change some stuff. But yeah, Cobra getting a little bit aggressive here is going to be worrisome. I mean, what's her face? Goddess is still holding this the top of the roof here. Has one trapped inside of luggage and is going to be able to spot the Mozzie soon. But Yoji find the first pick of that round. Is it some trades coming through? And actually, it's going to be going in favor of Senshi. It's actually a 2v2 now. A flurry of kills. It says now all left up to Cobra on the site. He'll pick up Super. And what just happened? We're in a 1v1 now. It was a 1v5 not more than 10 seconds ago. Is now a 1v1 between Goddess and Cobra. The Gridlock and the Jaeger. Are you going to be able to clutch this one out? Goddess knows that the Jaeger is inside of service and is going to try to go for this peek. Does have the diffuser in hand, but doesn't need it, as Goddess just goes for the kill. Cobra gives himself away freely to the Gridlock, and the fourth round, my apologies, now for the Soniqs. They guarantee themselves a lead going into the second half. Will it be the 5-1 or the 4-2, though? We're going to have to wait to the second round here, the last round of the half.
Well, yeah, Goddess right there, great composure, just sort of came into sight, didn't seem scared or timid, seemed to have at least some kind of intel on where Cobra was playing, just peeks him, wins the fight with a nice little crouch shot. That's kind of something that I wanted to highlight about Goddess during the U.S. Nationals that we didn't really get to see much of, was her 1v1 clutch potential. She obviously just showcased it there, and obviously that round was super, like, it was all over the place, really. We didn't get to see the actual push going down, but it looked like the same kind of push that we saw from the Soniqs before. Take control of Blue Bar and Office and Sunrise, utilize the angle from blue bar to through the main lobby that the defenders open up themselves to cut off rotation from the south side of the map, and then go to kitchen window, put someone either in hookah or on cool vibe stairs, and then try to plant the diffuser inside of the A bomb site. And it looked like it went exactly the way it was supposed to, except for the defenders were probably anticipating more of it and were able to trade out more efficiently. But Goddess, even though she was on the roof, she did get one frag and then end up coming in and winning the 1v1. So it was well played on both sides there. I think that round went a lot more evenly than the time we saw before.
Yeah, definitely a much like one of the more close rounds that we've seen in this contest, and look to see. I mean, I'm hoping we see some more rounds just like that, because it's never fun to see a complete blowout. You know, always want to see some good competition. I know that the Soniqs, they definitely don't want to see any good competition. They want to just blow this team out of the water. Right? An XPL team, I guess they are a CL team. I don't know. They aren't a CL team. I'm not sure how all that stuff works with there not being a CL and there being 10 teams inside of Pro League. I'll let you guys in chat like argue about that, 'cause I mean, I don't know enough about it to be able to say anything. So I don't know if you saw any of that, Rams, but
I already know what's happening, but I'm not gonna.
Okay. Well, sorry, my man just egoed me. I guess I'm not.
I can't say anything.
Nah, it's okay. It's whatever. I don't even care. I don't even want to know. You know.
Yep.
I'd rather be surprised like normal people.
Well, same site kitchen once again for the defenders. Senshi trying to establish some control on the penthouse and 90 area. Obviously, the pressure is being applied from Sunrise and Blue Bar, with one drone seemingly just being placed in the aquarium side haphazardly. Goddess is going to be pushing in through Aqua, throwing a track stringer to the top of White Stairs. And actually, we saw Goddess last round up on the roof looking for frags and like to try to cut off rotation. It looks like she's playing a more aggressive position to try and cut off this flanking rotation instead, which I like to see that level of adaptation. Obviously, the roof didn't. It ended up working out in the end, but for a second there, it almost didn't. You know, so having the much more like aggressive position per se as like as more established flank watch and more easily able to come and help out the team if she needs to is obviously going to benefit the Soniqs on this attack. Gomfi looking like he wants to remove this player playing inside of the main lobby holding the long angle. I believe that is Murdy holding that angle. Yes, it is. Murdy still waiting and holding this angle so that the attackers can't effectively push. Gomfi will fall victim to that, it looked like, as Slippery picks up another kill as well. Slebin trades onto Murdy. Slippery with another onto Super. Just playing by the rotational. Slebin is pushing in, knowing exactly where he is. He's going to actually switch off of his position and lose the fight to Yoji, who looked like he was in the middle of throwing a smoke. Now Goddess in a 1v4 scenario. Can she win this one out? We saw the 1v1 before. 1v4 obviously much more difficult. The Doc, played by Slippery, playing behind that angle, is not gonna win the fight. Cobra will cut with adequate cover onto his teammate, will win the fight instead. Or was it Yoji? It just switched to Jaeger at the end there. I don't understand.
No, it was Jaeger. Cool. It definitely was Jaeger. I don't know why it was him.
Yeah, that threw me off completely. I was like, okay, I guess Jaeger didn't get the frag.
Yeah, because I hit the button to switch to the person that got the kill, and it was Jaeger. So it had to have been Jaeger, you know. Either way, though, the 4-2 half, that's the best case scenario, I would say.
That's kind of what you anticipate, right? On Coastline, like a 4-2 split. And now Goyo coming out, the first new operator. Finally, we're going to see how Goyo is utilized on Coastline, at least by the Soniqs for this match.
Yeah, so it looks like the Soniqs looking to implement the new operator. So for those of you that don't know, Amaru and Goyo now going to be able to be used inside of competitive games. We saw it I saw it earlier today and yesterday in the EU Invitational Qualifiers. I saw some of those teams running it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the Goyo is ran. It looks like Super is going to be the individual who is going to be playing said operator, so looks like a little bit of meme stuff going on with the drones.
I want to point out a few things about the Soniqs defense with Goyo being implemented into it.
Oh yeah?
So first things first, Castle, in addition to Goyo plus Maestro, this requires the attackers to bring a lot of soft destructive utility. Also, I mean, obviously Coastline is a map where you don't need a hard breacher, so that's easy to do. But on maps like Bank and Clubhouse, Goyo is going to play a huge role in the way that attacking operator lineups are implemented. Obviously, some of these shields being placed right now, personally, it's hard to figure out where you want to put these shields because they can hurt you and they can help you at the same time. I'm personally under the belief that you want to put the shields in places that you're not trying to play behind it, you're just trying to waste time. But based on the positioning that Super is placing those shields, it looks like they're going to have defenders sitting behind some of them at times. So it's going to be interesting to see if the attackers can get to angles to actually destroy them and hurt the defenders. But Sleben has been taken down by Slippery, so it's a great start for Senshi starting this round.
Yeah, an excellent start for Senshi. I mean, that's a big operator to take off the board. The Legion, he just only gets...
That's the one you want early.
Yeah, he's the one operator that gets stronger as the round goes on, regaining more of those Legion traps. And oh no, Neptune's here. Oh, this would be the kill of a lifetime if he was able to find that frag, but he will lose his Maestro camera in the process to Yoji. Well played by him to be able to take down that utility as we reach about halfway through the round, and a lot of control here for the defense as it looks like it's going to be Super on Cool Vibe Stairs. He's going to take a little bit of damage there from that shield. Doesn't take too much though as he got out of there just in time before the fire enveloped him. As we're going to be seeing now how the rest of this attack unfolds, as it seems as though they want to be going for the hookah, which is an interesting take. You don't normally see hookah be the primary focus for most teams. Normally it's the billiards room in through aquarium, but either way here, it should be a fruitful attack, as it doesn't seem like a lot of people are positioned here. A nice grenade there from the roof, I believe, or from somewhere from Slippery, as he'll take down Super. Some more frags going to be coming. Yeah, it must have been. But wow, trades coming back and forth, and Gomfi, he'll find a triple kill actually, as it's going to be the swing in from Cobra. Left in the 1v2 situation. Can he find the frag? Yes, he'll find Neptunes. He finds also Gomfi. What a shot from Cobra. He'll put the round count 1 down for his team. And what 2 shots? They just gave him those kills. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I don't really see the reason for the peaks there. Obviously, I guess they felt confident they could win the round by just fragging out, but they didn't really need to peek there. All they needed to do was force him to plant or push in, and if they hold a crossfire on each other, there was no way that Cobra's going to win the round, unless he's just the greatest player alive. But, you know, that attack looked good coming out from Senshi. Goyo shields not really being placed where, like what we were talking about, where like you don't really want to play behind the shield, you just want to put it in a place where the attackers have to destroy it and waste utility on it so that they can't push through quickly. Obviously, that forced Super to be fully removed from his position for quite a while. If you think about it, the fire from the shield could have actually helped the attack. So after they destroy the shield, the fire is all over the staircase. Obviously, the defenders nor the attackers can push onto the staircase, but it gives the attackers the ability to move around through that area without having to worry about Cool Vibe Stairs, because no one's going to stand in the fire and peek from it. You know what I mean? So maybe it gave them a little bit more downstairs control. This is all speculation, of course, but I'm just talking about like in the broad scheme of how Goyo works. That's something that everybody's going to have to think about for the future as they start implementing him more into their roster.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there, and looking like we're going to be seeing no Goyo this time, which is definitely curious because, I mean, he's a new operator. They obviously wanted to bring him, but they're going to be switching Super over to the smoke, which we actually saw Super find some success on in USN. I know he had that nice flank on Clubhouse in the final round of the Tempo Storm match. So definitely looking to see him make some big impact here with the smoke, with that SMG.
Yeah. I think you muted yourself again, by the way, but I think that he was playing mute, but either way, that shotgun
either way,
SMG,
it's the SMG, you know.
Yeah, that shotgun SMG combo, he's had lots of success on it, which is the point of what you were saying. I'm assuming more than anything else. And right now, Senshi taking quick control of the kitchen, Jackal tracking the player in blue barn, and now they're effectively cut off. This is a great rush play in a way. Sleben just has to waste time. Yes, he is effectively trapped, but now his job is to waste time. He's going to know that his rotates are cut off. He's a good enough player. He's not just going to walk into Cobra's crosshairs. He's still playing inside of the office, just trying to force the attackers to utilize as much of their drone utility as possible. And he's doing a pretty good job of it. If I were them, you know, Slebin has no C4. He's playing Legion. Just leave him there. In my opinion, you
For
know,
real.
like move someone to a position to just wait for him, and then leave him there. Like don't even waste the body on him. Start focusing on the other defenders, which is exactly what's happening now. They're removing the utility onto Cool Vibe stairs, and now Super has been taken out, so that's a huge pick. That is who you want to take care of in the middle of this round, other than, you know, Maestro and Slebin. But now look, they do have Slebin cut off, so they are just doing just gonna leave him there. No C4, no need to worry. Just leave him there and wait.
Yeah, Kardama's waiting for Slebin to make a mistake here, and it looks like he will shoot the drone. Actually, will rotate into main lobby. Kardama is going to be able to cut this off. It looks like he will fall into damage, and he will finally find the frag onto Slebin. Oh, yeah, a little bit of BM there, Kardama. Shows Slebin who's boss. Goddess picks up the frag, though. Slippery off the board. Your Sledge, no more grenades. Not sure if he was able to get rid of those or not, but again, it seems like they want to take control of Hookah, with Goddess just waiting for this push to come up the Cool Vibe stairs. It looks like that's going to be Kardama on the Jackal, just waiting for the castle to overpeak, and looks like he's going to be the one to engage this gunfight as he just goes for the barbed wire on the bottom. Is Goddess going to be able to peek this? No, she can't win the gunfight. That's Kardama on such little HP, but the goo trap will down the Jackal, so it's essentially a 3v2 unless that player can be picked back up. A 2v2 now, as it looks like Cobra is going to want to try to go for the pickup. Murdy all by his lonesome on the Hookah balcony with 17 seconds left. It doesn't look like this is going to be a very good round for Senshi. Murdy will finally enter in through the site, but with the both players playing here, it's going to be a double peek. Gonfi finds one. Neptune's with the second. It's now all up to Cobra. He'll find one onto Gonfi, but does have the diffuser in hand. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to clutch this one out. The Soniqs win round number 8 and push things 5-3 over Senshi, and looking like they're going to be taking the driver's seat on this one.
Yeah, that was a much more composed round out of the Soniqs. Neptune's obviously waiting there, knows he doesn't have to peek, and he's just like, that guy's on Ash again. I'm not peeking him.
Exactly.
So, you know, obviously, Slebin did waste a little bit of time and probably a little bit of drone utility, as much as he could have from that position, but it was ultimately just proven to be ineffective on the roam. Not that big of a deal in terms of the actual defense itself. Great cover from Gonfi and Neptune's. Goddess losing the fight on Cool Vibe was good, and Kardama being downed. No, if you think about it though, Kardama pushing the Cool Vibe stairs with nobody behind him. If Goddess wins the fight and there's no trade, then they pretty much lose the round right there. So if Kardama wins that fight, like, and is able to get picked up by a teammate who was there to initially trade, it could have, you know, pulled the momentum into Senshi's favor. But I like the way that they took control quickly, and things seem to be looking really good for them, taking out Super early. And now he's actually going to be switching over to Mute for this round. So obviously he's going to be playing more of a passive utility role instead of an active utility role. Just trying to figure out exactly what operators will help his team the most during their defensive rounds. As some of them have been a lot closer than I think that they are feeling comfortable with, you know? But I think that Soniqs are playing well and Senshi is playing well. There's just a few things on both ends that could be adjusted.
I want to highlight something in this round, and it's not every day that you see a hard reacher being brought in competitive play on Coastline. Normally you'll see teams forego that operator and forego it completely, not even bringing a Thermite, Maverick, nor Hibana. So it's always curious as to why a team chooses to bring it. Maybe they just want to open up a few more angles. I mean, the Soniqs are playing Castle, so it could make sense as to get those Castle barricades open from afar, but you could always just use your Zofia or your Ashe. It's just a map where fraggers are just more prevalent, you know? And to see a hard breacher being brought definitely leads to believe that they want to play this a little bit more strategically in trying to open up these angles and crossfires to try to deny this roam game. As Slebin, again, he's going to be holding inside of office. It's a risky play for the Legion, but does have this rotate right back into the blue bar if he does choose to use it.
Obviously, Slebin is very, very in a lot of trouble right now. Oh no! The DK from Sly onto Cobra. God. That is very unfortunate, but ultimately they will trade out, and oh no, Neptune's coming in to kick out Kardama. The Senshi attack just completely obliterated with a Nice little one tap from Slippery onto Cobra. I don't know what the communication was there, but he gunned him down with vicious intent. That was
Yeah, he said good night to his teammate.
Unexpected, in my opinion. Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't have outlines on because I mean we could obviously see the Legion was behind like the little half wall, and you just saw Slippery just like good night his teammate. So that was definitely unfortunate. But and Neptune's with these holes above was able to get the trade as well. I mean, I guess he didn't even need to get the trade because like the Slippery like traded it out for the Soniqs. But either way, it puts man advantage even more in favor of their team, and health advantage as well, as Slippery got downed by that Legion, and it's going to be back up on the 20 HP. But either way here, we're going to see the rest of this round come through is they have these holes above. It's not every day that you see a vertical hold for the double bars. Normally, you'll just see people hold it on the main floor here, and then give up vertical pressure, or not just give up, but hold it, but give it away. You know, they're committed to this top floor roam with all these reinforcements, holes, barbed wire, all the utility in play, and they really do not want to give it up. Oh
my, with a great flank from Yoji though, coming in, taking down both Super and Goddess. He does have a Legion back off quickly, leaving Neptunes and Gomfi with full upstairs control. Neptunes has rotated back down to the bottom of Cool Vibe stairs, and now Gomfi's going to rotate back down too, but gets completely obliterated by what looked like a triple crossfire he walked into. Now the diffuser successfully being planted. Slippery on very, very low health along with Murdy. They're both going to retreat outside and hold a crossfire. Oh, Murdy almost taken down by that pre-fire through the wall, and now Slippery getting on a drone to watch the diffuser effectively. Slippery setting up that drone to give as much intel as possible. He's in a great spot playing outside. Neptune's going to run out on him? I think he is, but Murdy's waiting in just the perfect position. Oh my gosh, Neptune's with a nice little peek, knows exactly where Murdy is now. He's going to peek around and down him. Uh-oh, Slippery is going to have to stay alive for as long as he can. He doesn't see him. Oh, he gets him. Does he have enough time to get the diffuser? That's a huge play by Neptunes if they can stop it, and I think that he's got it. Neptunes with a huge clutch up onto his team. My goodness, that was so close. Neptunes. Whew, well played, Neptunes.
Neptunes with two clean shots. The pre-fire on the one, not seeing the second on the other side of that half wall, but ends up getting the flick anyway to take down the last two attackers and win the round out. I realize I haven't been showing the scoreboard, so here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Neptune's top of the leaderboard with that last defuse, but it's been Gauntfy really bringing things out with those frags, 10 of them. But Cobra and Kardama with 10 each, definitely showing out for their team. Murdy, though, not looking so hot, my man. 3 and 8. You were definitely playing a little bit better in ranked not too long ago, but it's definitely a different beast between ranked and competitive play, especially when you're going up against the Soniqs.
Yeah, Murdy's been playing a lot of support for his team. You have, like, you know, we usually don't see support players going completely bananas on the scoreboard if it's a you know, one-sided affair. Which sort of for the Soniqs it is. One thing you have to note about that round is that there was a TK early on, like right at the beginning. It was a very sloppy push in that obviously led to Cobra's inevitable demise to the hands of Slippery, and Slippery almost clutched it up. I actually really liked his positioning post-plant and setting up the drone, but being on such low health because he got downed, and you know, you highlighted the attackers, or not the attackers, the defenders holding upstairs and obviously, you know, keeping vertical control of a lot of positions throughout that round. I think that was mainly due to the lack of pressure the attack actually applied.
Yeah.
Usually we see pressure being applied through hookah with a buck or something like that to, like, you know, sort of force those defenders out of position, but we didn't see any of that from Senshi. They were pretty much all bottleneck focused on Slebin, and even though Slebin, you know, died, it was ultimately to the advantage of the defenders. And so Senshi, you know, have to throw that round out of their minds and just, like, focus on the next, because I think that right now, it looks like they might just want to push straight into sight. Doesn't look like a lot of controls being taken anywhere else.
No, I mean, Super is all by his lonesome on site, so it's just going to be an all-out rush. They know exactly where the smoke is, but could it be another TK? No, you let Super get the double shotgun kill. How does it happen? Kardama coming in from behind, it sounds like, as he's jumped right in through kitchen window, but the damage has already been done by the defense. Super is just gifted 2 free kills, 3 free kills. Super. That's going to be first map going in favor of the Soniqs, and an all-out rush there at the end just doesn't turn out well for Senshi. I mean, they had it. That was the play. But it just... they just let Super get the frags. And that was all that happened.
They walked in front of each other.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's hard to... Your trigger discipline kicks in. You don't want to shoot your teammate in the back, but you definitely want to get that kill. They just needed to throw some utility, throw some flashbangs, like, you know, throw.
Match here as both teams are ready. Going to be starting things off on Villa as our second map of the evening. So again, if you're just joining us, I mean, I hope you're not just joining us because that was a really fast break, you know. But if you are, welcome. I'm Razors. This is Rams. Rams, say hello.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Yeah, he's a USN analyst, you know. So I'm just lucky that I was able to get a Twitter DM to him. So either way, though, Villa's the map, and it looks like the Capitao is the ban here. Capitao, you'll probably know the numbers better on this, but how often was Capitao banned at USN? It felt like it was almost every single map.
It wasn't every single map.
Okay.
I think that sometimes it was more targeted. I think it was more target bans, like based on the way the teams were.
We saw some
utilizing it
buck
at
bans.
times.
I know that some buck, and we saw one vigil ban. But that was crazy.
Yeah, that was a weird ban.
But it made sense against TSM.
I remember talking to Vertical and like why they did the vigil ban, but they were anticipating a different ban and actually had to change. So it was just the way things went out. Capitao, though, as of right now, Capitao in competitive play is a safe ban for attackers, mainly because, for defenders, because if you ban Capitao, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Because right now, there's no counter for him.
No.
Until Wamai comes out in competitive play, Capitao has no counter. So on certain maps, Capitao can be really strong if there's just certain positions that anchors love to sit in. And, you know, when it comes to Villa, you could use Capitao to force Bandit off the wall, go for an easy thermite on Aviator in games. You could use Capitao to shoot an arrow into the vault through the top of the reinforcement, you know, or maybe even through the drone hole if you can figure out the angle quickly, and remove all the defenders from that location. And when you shoot a Capitao bolt, you're shooting it with the intention of removing a defender from a certain area into a line of sight that the rest of your teammates are holding. So they just want to remove Capitao completely for that specific purpose, or maybe there's other reasons behind it that the team specifically, you know, just don't want to have Capitao added. But Capitao is a common ban right now. Once Wamai comes in, we probably won't see him banned as much.
I agree. I think once Wamai comes into play, I think his play will go up tremendously. Or I guess his ban rate will go down, just because Wamai is such an easy counter for him. An easy count, like he's just a better Jaeger, you know. He can.
I think that. Go ahead. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, he can't really trap as much, like, immediately. Obviously, Jaeger gets all three of his ADS immediately to start the round, and Wamai, quite like Legion, it generates as the round continues, so it can be a little bit more difficult to place out those charges. But you're given more time and more. It's easier to toss those out. You know, you can chuck them across the room and pretty much catch anything. So mid round, you can just chuck it across the room and hope to catch any utility that gets tossed through.
I think that with the addition of Wamai, once he comes into competitive play, will actually open up the door for a lot of Jaeger bans, specifically, like certain positions that we're used to seeing held like for the entire round, like blue stairs on bank, will no longer have the utility required to hold those positions for that long, and then you know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But Goddess obviously snaking her way into this tight-knit corner to make sure that she does not die. I would never look there if I ran out to try to find her. So, you know, the attack formulating outside of study at the moment. Obviously, Neptune's just gonna be watching this doorway like a hawk from probably the entire round. But as I say that, he walks in, get hit by a Gumime, and is going to be pushing in. Cobra with the kill onto Gompi, trying to establish downstairs control. Well played by him at the moment, trying to rotate back up red, but is he going to be able to get there? Kardama actually picks up the kill onto Sleben now, and Neptune's now looking down, trying to find Cobra. Can see him through the floor, through the holes that they made to stop the thermites on the wall. Neptune's now opting to just put the Claymore down and hold off and drone for a little bit longer, as they are still looking for Cobra, and I think they're just going to try to cut off Kardama and Cobra's rotation back to site, or at least back up the main staircase as they try to formulate some kind of an attack, because right now, they're not going to push. Or maybe Super is. Maybe Super's feeling ballsy. He's actually going to go for it. Oh my gosh, he pushes in and loses the fight, unfortunately for him. Not the play, but as Kardama peeks back out haphazardly, Neptunes is going to trade him back out. Wallbang's looking for that Jaeger still, but they're not going to find anything. These goo mines are proving to be a big hazard for Soniqs right now. And Goddess needs to try to get the wall open, or else nothing's going to happen. They're going to completely stall out. Neptune's looking like he wants to push straight up the hallway now, and it looks like they're just going to go for an all-out frag fest. Goddess trying to open up one of the walls. Jaeger might shoot it off, but no, and the impact misses as well. So removing that player from behind the bar is nice, but they don't really have the man advantage to capitalize on it at the moment.
No, they don't really. It's a 4v2 here for the defense. More drone work going to come out from Neptunes. He just drones out the 90 hallway. He's going to spot that Maestro, who I believe is still playing tough there. But, ooh, a nice shot there by Slippery. Take the head right off of Neptunes. It's all up to Goddess now in the 1v4. Can we see another shot from Slippery? No, it's Goddess. Finally gets the trade here. It's only a down for the Legion. Ooh, peeks wide. Murdy, what are you doing? Just haphazardly walking up the 90 hallway. 30 seconds left, and this is very winnable for Goddess. The Legion is still down, trying to back away to his teammate to try to get the pickup, and it looks like Yoji will go for that, but Goddess has rotated her way in behind the bar. Is this going to be caught out by the defense? Trying to go for the frags. Does spot the two inside of the vault, but it's going to be Slippery, recently revived from the death, from the grave, I guess. I don't know. He's revived, you know, and he'll find the frag back onto Goddess, getting a little bit of revenge there.
Yeah, ultimately, you know, the roam from Senshi was not anticipated well by the Soniqs. They didn't really have the utility nor the operators available to slow it down, and Senshi did a great job delaying the push, getting the man count, and keeping the man count. Something you have to, you know, sort of highlight from the Soniqs in that round was Super did try to go for the frag that he thought he could. He went for his utility, but the positioning from, I believe it was Kardama, was just too strong in that moment. One thing you can take note of from, obviously, like, you know, T3 play, which is where Senshi is coming from, not to demean them as a team. I know the players are good. It's I'm just more trying to compare like what competitive, like, Challenger League, Pro League plays versus, you know, T3 plays. Obviously, Goddess wins the fight, or not wins the fight onto Slippery after the trade on the Neptunes, right? He downs him. Now, Goddess rotates into the hallway, anticipating the push from 90. Obviously, like, Murdy is pushing up to try to get an angle onto Goddess, but Goddess is anticipating the push and just gets a free kill pretty much. At that point, like, you know, Murdy you have your cameras. You just gotta sit and wait, you know?
Yeah, you gotta just sit and wait wait for those players to come to you. And
yeah, like there's cameras. You have man count. Goddess. It's not like Goddess down Slipper, ran through the bar and into vault and just waxed your team because you didn't push up into the hallway. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there was some slow play that could have been implemented there, especially with time being on the defender's side. That was just a, you know, walking to your own death pretty much.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. An interesting second site here. Looks like it's going to be the kitchen and a dining room. That's going to be next up on the list here for Senshi. And I will remind you, this is the Soniqs map pick. So
yeah,
the first map, Villa, going in favor of the Soniqs, which was Senshi's pick. So we could see a couple of little pocket strats here for Senshi on Villa, and may have not been the right choice for the Soniqs. I mean, beg to differ that the last map definitely wasn't the right choice for Senshi to make. I mean, they got pretty waxed on that map, 7-3, and looking at this attack, or this defensive setup here. Oh no. Oh, good night, Slippery. He got a little bit of damage off onto Slebin, but ultimately not enough. But the re-pick from the Legion, Kardama takes down Slebin. That's a big pick. That's the Jackal, so the ability to track, as well as those smokes, as the re-pick comes in from Neptunes. I'm not sure. Kardama just not weary of that peak whatsoever, as it's going to be made a 3v3 as a couple of trades come back and forth.
I'm actually really liking the roam coming out from Senshi right now. I think that the roam is the play, and I think picking kitchen dining is the play. Obviously, you anticipate the defenders to go to trophy, But kitchen dining is a strong site for the defenders, especially if you force the attackers to fight for map control, which is exactly what's happening. There's only about a minute left. Nothing's really been opened up in the sense of like pushing the site necessarily. It's all been trying to take control and force the roamers into bad positions, which Soniqs have been doing a pretty good job of. I really liked that peek from Sleben onto the staircase. But as of right now, really nothing's really happened for the attackers, and time is dwindling down. Cobra's still alive, but on very, very low health. Has to be careful. Most likely just going to be watching one of the doorways into sight. Yoji trying to delay the information gathering for as long as he can with these mute jammers. Is going to be doing a good job and just trying to play in tight corners. Most likely just waiting for the attackers to walk right in front of him, which might occur at the moment. They're very, very wary to walk into the site. One flashbang does get thrown. As a trade comes out, Gomfi trades it back onto Yoji from Goddess. The diffuser has been picked back up by Nep. Or I think he had it the whole time, actually. I say that again. Neptunes takes down Cobra, who tried to peek out and go for a flank, per se. Murdy now just waiting. Does have a C4 and could potentially throw it to deny the plant and potentially win the fight with the player to his left. Neptunes and Gomfi obviously have no idea where he is. They both come off of the plant, though. It's just the unfortunate timing as they didn't have to stick the defuse because the timer was still up. So, ultimately at the end of the day, well played by Soniqs. They're just taking it one step at a time, droning one room at a time, and covering each other very well.
Yeah, a very excellent attack there in the 2v1 by Gomfi and Neptunes, able to, like you said, come off of that plant and both peak at the same time. Definitely well coordinated there and excellent cover by both players as they were able to hear that rip and the sound cue of that nitrocell being tossed through the air. So they will tie things up on the second round here, 1-1. Looking to go now to the third, and we're going to be seeing a 6-pick here. We're going to see the Valkyrie for the first time here get brought out by Cobra, 6-picking off of that dock. There is no IQ being brought by the attack like there was in almost every single round of the last map. So definitely going to be very helpful as they've got both Kardama on the Mozzie and Cobra on the Valk. So those cameras should be able to stand a lot longer than they would with an IQ on the board. So well played there by Senshi to read into that in the reveal phase and make that 6-pick happen.
If you want to highlight one thing about Soniqs gameplay, particularly from what we've seen out of this map so far, is that for that entire last round, they were always in position to trade. As soon as Senshi got a kill, Soniqs trades them out. And when you're on attack, if you trade out defenders quickly like that, you have the advantage because you gain control of the area that the defender was trying to occupy. So all it took, you know, even when the man count was evened up and continuing to be even, all it took was that one haphazard peak from Senshi to give Soniqs the exact control that they needed. Like, because even in the last seconds of that round, even if the C4 goes off, Gomfi's still there to trade out Neptunes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, at high competitive level play, if your game plan isn't working out in terms of like the strat that you're trying to run, as long as you know where the defenders are and stick up and play 2v1s the entire time, you should trade out all the way to the end into a 1v1 where it's just you versus one defender, and then at that point you either try to gun or go for the plant, ideally.
Yeah, the best way to play Siege is to be like we hear like some of the better teams like 5 seconds apart in order to be able to get those trades, like you said. And if you're able to get those trades, ultimately you're able to win the round because you're able to not only play off of your teammates effectively, but also be able to find the kills necessary to put the round into your favor. The bar attack, though, starting to come out here as it looks like it's going to be Slippery close on the bar, but Gomfi actually defined the frag as Slippery. It wasn't Slippery on the bar, it was Kardama on that Mozzie, but Slippery here trying to make his escape from the aviator room. He'll find one. That's, again, Sleben going down quite early here for the Soniqs. Not going to be able to track any more roamers or use those smoke canisters for any sorts of push. But still a lot of utility on this defense as well as the attack, as they've got the Zofia, the two soft destructors, hard destructor, and the Thatcher to go with it. But it seems like they're not pushing for Master Goddess, the only one on that side. The rest here on the south side pushing in through these two doors. This attack is always very questionable, as you have to make your gunfights go into your favor if you want to win this attack, because you're not going to be able to open up any more lines of sight unless Goddess is able to open up this Master Wall. But it's, I mean, pushing by herself, it's not going to be very likely.
I don't think she's ever gonna really push into the site without the support of her teammates. Obviously, obviously not having someone play in the bathroom to sort of like watch your flank is sort of a question mark in my mind. Yoji getting taken out. Bandit juggle, that was a nice bait by the Soniqs to try to get the man advantage, which has just occurred. More droning coming out. Goddess has to be careful of her flank now at the moment, as the rest of her teammates can actually just push the site, really. Gomfi looking like he's going to be watching the flank as Cobra has snuck his way into the bathroom. Goddess now just waiting, looking for some cover, but is actually going to somehow almost win. That was a ridiculous thing to actually occur. The diffuser does have to go down as the Soniqs are just pushing for the frag, and Cobra, unfortunately with not enough info, didn't know that he was fully getting pushed. That was close. I mean, Senshi were able to stop the play for a little while, but Soniqs with the nice bait for the bandit juggle, I think that's pretty much where they won the round in my opinion.
I don't know what's going on in my chat, but there's a lot of spam going on. If I could have some mods like take care of this, like thank you, Unfair. Finally ban somebody, because there's too much spam. I don't like spam, so just please like try to keep the spam down, and mods that are here, please do something. Anyway, round number 4 now. So that's 2 rounds in a row now from the Soniqs, and what looked like it could have been a Senshi-sided map, you know, is gone quickly the opposite. It's been the Soniqs these last 2 rounds who have pretty much dominated, and playing off each other, playing as a team, as one unit. It's been refreshing to see from the Soniqs, because they are a good team. They have a lot of good players on this team. It's just they haven't been able to figure it out in the past, and I feel like they're finally figuring it out, and this could be good for them as it's going into the home stretch here for events. You know, we have the 6 Invitational coming up, our next season of Pro League with the 10 teams now being allotted. I believe that means that the Soniqs will be in Pro League. Again, I'm not sure how it all works, but either way here, that's neither here nor there, as we've got the Invitationals to worry about. And I'm sure that that's the primary focus for all of these teams participating.
Yeah. So right now, Soniqs winning 2 attacks in a row. It's kind of uncommon to see on Villa, but this is one of their best maps, hands down. Nobody actually wants to play them on this map, so it's curious if Senshi want to go here against them. Obviously, if Senshi can take advantage of as many defensive round wins as possible, they have a huge shot at taking the map and making it a close affair. But I feel like if Soniqs win another attack, so if they win this attack, even if they lose the next 2 attacking rounds in a row, once they get on defense, I feel like they're just gonna clean out Senshi unless Senshi really like know what they're doing on this map. And so they're gonna have to take advantage of the defensive rounds, like I said.
Yeah, definitely got to take advantage of defense while you've got it, especially on a map as defensive-sided as Villa, one of the more defensive-sided maps. And I mean, already looking into things right now, it just seems like the Soniqs are firing on all cylinders here. Right? They're starting to make this attack happen in through study with no Mira on the board. It's just going to be all Goddess. I'm not sure why they aren't opening up the tops of these walls to impact trick. I mean, it just doesn't make much sense. It looked like Slippery was trying to open those up last second, but ultimately he's not able to do it with the low caliber gun that Legion brings to the table. So the bar wall does get opened up, and that's going to leave a long line of sight here for the attack to just hold into that bar and cut off any rotation. They just need to get a player now inside of bar itself to get that diffuser down without trying to get caught off by too much utility. With only a minute left, they got to make this start to happen. As some more drones come through, they're trying to gather that intel, but Cobra, actually, he'll go for a run out there. I'm not sure what happened, but Sleben, either way, is taken off. Maybe just a roam clear down below. But again, this Ash now holding down below. Oh, all Gonfi needs to do is go for this peek, but he gives away his position as an Nitro comes flying through. He'll take it out. Gonna be now a one-on-one gunfight here. Gonfi gonna go in for the flashes. Is he gonna be able to find the kill? Yes, Cobra not able to see anything, as that's an easy kill for the Ash. With only 30 seconds left, this push is starting to come out onto site. Neptunes finds one. It's Koyoji off of the board. Are there going to be trades coming back out here from Senshi? It doesn't seem like it. Kardama finally finds Gonfi down below, but Neptune's holding strong, and on this classical hallway is wearisome of the push in from behind. That's actually Kardama to find another kill. He's now in a 1v2 though against the Thermite and Zofia, both on pretty good HP here. Diffuser is down, so it's a post-plant position for Senshi. He's going to rotate down towards 90. Could possibly catch off the Zofia here as some more stun grenades do come through. Super playing it perfectly as he's going to be just laying prone here at the top of Classical Stairs. He does get spotted outbow by Kardama, but Super wins the gunfight out anyway. Another round here for the Susquehanna Soniqs. I just realized I was deafened now.
Unfortunately, Razors has muted and deafened himself there.
No, I'm back now.
I'm not quite sure what's going on.
No, I'm sorry. It's so hard to press every button on my, I have to press every button on my keyboard to spectate, and my deafen and my mute keys are like the plus and minus key, so I accidentally sometimes hit those when I'm trying to spectate somebody else, but
oh, use a controller, man. Use a controller.
My controller's broken. I can't use it. I can't. It won't plug into my computer.
Stop raging and throwing it.
I don't even use my controller anymore. It's just broken, all right? It's been messed up for a long time. That's why it's just better to have a spectator, you know.
Oh yeah, obviously it's better to have more people involved in the production of a Rainbow Six match so that it appropriately, but hopefully, you know, we're all still having fun and you guys are enjoying it in the chat from what we're seeing. Oh yeah, I love seeing more spam in your chat.
Like, what is this? Like, stop spamming Hannibal. Like, ugh. This is weird. It's like the stuff that you guys spam in Twitch chat will always baffle me, you know. And
I'm just happy that like during like big broadcasts like USN, like obviously like I tell my parents and like some of my relatives to watch it, but I tell them immediately and I show them beforehand. I'm like, all right, now when you bring this up, go to this arrow and that will remove the chat.
Yeah.
Worry about the chat. Like I tell them, I'm like, just remove that aspect of it, and you guys will understand. Like, have a much better understanding of what's going on. Otherwise, you're going to be reading a ton of ridiculous stuff, and it's going to just frustrate you. And you are going to constantly text me and ask me, like, what does this mean? Like, what does Monka S mean? You know, it's like I'm just like, I don't even have time to answer that question. You know?
Yeah, the spam is definitely like I cannot have chat on while I'm watching a Pro League stream, and I know what's going on, so it doesn't confuse me at all. It just annoys me, you know. I have to turn it off. It's not like anything important's going on in it, so it just all has to be turned off, and I just have to be able to watch the match. So, speaking of which, round number 5 here. It's been 3 rounds in a row for the Soniqs, and it looks like Senshi's finally going to pick up on the fact that they need to bring someone to deny this wall. Cobra, though, 2 kills. How is that allowed to happen? It looks like they were trying to enter in through the bottom floor. I just want to see real quick, where were these players, or were they through the hatch?
Where are they? Where are their dead bodies?
I don't see them.
I think you just saw one, but anyway, like he
I don't know, but Cobra.
Cobra's just going off right now.
We're just gonna spectate Cobra.
Triple kill onto Gonfi. Neptunes and Goddess last alive. We saw how this worked out last time they were the last ones alive, and obviously this looks like a round win for Senshi. Not too much they could do. I do wish that we knew where Gonfi and Super were trying to entry from, and Sleben, as a matter of fact. But the wall has been opened. Goddess with 1 frag onto Yoji. So now she's going to push her way in. Looking, Neptunes is going to be behind the bar with her. Neptunes with a double now, evening up the man count a little bit. Has to pick up the diffuser and is in a great spot to try to win this round. He's going to go for a plant. Trying to bait some of these defenders. Slippery playing inside of the hallway is going to easily pick up the frag onto Neptunes. And Senshi win their second round on defense, but they need to win at least one more to have a fighting chance moving forward on the attacking side.
Yeah, definitely a curious round. I really wish we could have found those 2 players trying to entry in that Cobra just shut down immediately. But
you're still muted, by the way.
Fucking hell, man. I'm just gonna keep muting myself. It's just impossible to not hit those 2 buttons. I'm gonna have to unbind those whenever I cast. I'll have to do that after the break. But either way here, that's finally a round that's going to go in favor of Senshi. And if you're Senshi, you got to bring this to a 3-3 half. You know, it's Villa. We all know how defensive-sided Villa can be, and the fact that this is going in favor of the attackers is definitely an anomaly, not something that we're used to happening whatsoever. So it just doesn't look good, you know. This was the Soniqs map pick, so that definitely has something to do with the fact that they're winning it out. But if you want this to go to a map number 3, which you need to have happen if you want to be able to continue on in this tournament, and I know I was talking to some of the Senshi players beforehand, and they were definitely hyped about this match and super excited. You know, a lot of these players are good friends with some of the Tempo Storm players. I know 2 of them are even roommates with Butters, and so they were a little salty about some of the stuff that went down at LAN between the Soniqs and Tempo Storm. So they were kind of looking for a little bit of revenge here, and it just seems like the Soniqs are shutting things down at the doorstep, you know.
Yeah, with some standout plays from some of the Senshi players, they are keeping themselves in this now for to trade an early frag back with another early frag. Murdy off the board. Super nice shotting to himself there.
Wow.
Not quite sure what Murdy was doing. Maybe trying to throw a camera outside and just, you know, having a little bit of bad timing, but either way, that's not going to help out Senshi at all. They need to trade it back as soon as possible. Cobra looking like he could be trying to do that as he does get droned out. He does have an ADS to help him. 2 actually ADS to help him. So no matter what, Senshi looks like they want to keep him 90 for as long as possible. Super bringing up a secondary drone from down below. Gonna pinpoint his location and could go for a nice little pre-fire onto him, which might be what he's gonna do. Looks for a nice little pre-fire, doesn't quite land anything. Just trying to hold Cobra in place so that his teammates can come up and frag him out from the... Does Cobra have any covering teammates? Yes, he does. Jaeger's going to be trying to cover him immediately. Sly Perry holding the angle. Excuse me, Slippery holding the angle. Dodges 1 flash. Kardama is with him as well. All these players are just running all over the map trying to cover each other. This looks like great teamwork coming from both sides as Kardama has been down. Cobra with the kill onto Super finally from the 90 window. As more and more frags from Cobra keep coming out, he's going to have to hold his angles and stay alive. But no, he's going to eventually out by Neptunes, who is now in a 1v3. Kardama has still been down and is going to be calling out Neptune's position. Now, as I say that, though, he does get fragged back. And now it's all up to Yoji and Slippery to hold back Neptunes, who does have the diffuser with about 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
Yeah, still plenty of time for Neptunes to clutch out this 1v2. Has the diffuser in hand and still has it. He had one of those screw tops in his pocket, but will be taking that out momentarily as he's just trying to make this push happen onto the site. Looks like there's one right behind the statue here who will give away his position though with the pre-fires, but it doesn't matter. Slippery will even things out at a 3-3 at the half. A nice half there to try to come back for Senshi. I mean, that was 3 rounds in a row from the Soniqs and then followed up by 2 quick rounds from Senshi. And ultimately, great teamwork there on the Aviator side of things to find the frags and get the trades to win out that round for the defense. But it's now time to switch halves, and the Soniqs, who look dominant on a side that definitely doesn't get on the attacking side, which is the least favorite side for Villa. They now get to go to the favorite side, defense, and a 3-3 half. I don't know. It definitely doesn't look good for Senshi, but maybe they've got some plans on offense that are going to surprise all of us.
What I really liked to see out of that last round from Senshi in particular was the way that they were defending. It was much more dynamic, a lot more team-oriented play coming out of them, trying to cover each other from various angles, obviously knowing that 90 and cover that player's back, it'll effectively halt the Soniqs as they have to push through 2 different doorways. Trying to have that player, trying to have Mozzie play in between the 2 of them was also very nice. The time waste was good, and eventually the frags ended up being in Senshi's favor, leaving Neptunes in, you know, another like 1vx scenario, which is seeming to be like how, you know, he is playing on this map. He seems to just be the last one alive at all times. So we're going to see how that changes on defense. It looks like we're going to see Aviator and Bar for Soniqs, and I'm interested to see, you know, what they have in store for us. Obviously, opening up the top of the walls to try to impact with their C4s over is going to be their primary defense for keeping the walls closed. They have multiple sets of impact grenades potentially with Maestro and Legion. They have 2 C4s and then barbed wire. I would assume that there's 4 pieces of barbed wire, some from Maestro, some from Jaeger, and then the rest, impacts and C4s. But we'll just wait and see what happens. Right now, Cobra looking like he wants to entryway through bikes, along with Kardama, looking like this dual entry by them is going to be utilized to try to take control of the bottom floor underneath the site. As of right now, it doesn't look like there's any Soniqs defenders playing on it, and looks like they're just going to be playing at the top of red stairs and trying to focus on keeping control of 90. Slebin is in a good position to halt this attack if an attacker just walks into his crosshairs without any droning. But it looks like Kardama's just going to be waiting and holding an angle patiently inside the living room.
Yeah, Kardama playing it very smart with this angle just being held here. It knows that he doesn't need to make this push happen immediately without a drone, of course, as it looks like Cobra is just going to be making his way over towards the library itself and could use some of that utility in order to make that push happen. If he's able to get some of those impacts up through the floor, but it looks like he's actually just going to go straight up the main stairs here. Nobody really holding on to this from the Soniqs. Everybody on the Soniqs is in sight or on 90 or somewhere on the north side of the map, as Gonfi just here on the red landing is waiting for the push up those red stairs. But the Soniqs now they're playing this right. They're opening up the wall above the breach into office, and that was a grenade from below. Yes, a wonderful grenade from Slippery to find Mute Super, who's been a big player so far in these matches, is looking to find more, but Goddess here holding on to 90 is going to be pushed here by the sledge of Slippery. Does have one more grenade, so if there isn't an ADS, which there actually is placed on 90, could have gone for a grenade kill, but is going to have to just hold the angle for the time being, as Goddess is going to fall back and just wait for the sledge to make a mistake. Slebin is going to be able to find Kardama, who is just entering in through, I'm not sure where he was, but Cobra just walks right into bar. He'll take down Neptune's Murdy with a second. It's a flurry of kills for Senshi, as Giannis will finally find that frag on the 90 window. He's going to have to retake the site now in a post-plant position. Has 2 players on the other side of this bar, but on such little HP, she'll die to about 1 bullet of pretty much any gun from this attack. Now with the diffuser 3/4 of the way, this wall hasn't been opened by the attack, so she's going to have to enter in through the door. Goes for the pre-fires, but it's Yoji to find the angle. And going to take the first round of the second half here for Senshi, giving themselves the first lead since it was 1-0.
Yeah, that was a well-timed push coming out from Senshi. I liked the way that Soniqs were holding it. Obviously, none of the walls getting opened was kind of curious, but Senshi just deciding to forego it and push straight into the site. Obviously, a well-timed grenade by Slippery to try to get Super out of that position, which was ultimately effective. But what we saw out of Goddess was kind of like, with time dwindling down before the attackers actually pushed into the site. That's what you want to see out of a defending Maestro or Echo player. You want them to sort of back off, but hold a passive angle on areas that the attackers want to get into. Obviously, you don't want to directly challenge it, which would ultimately risk your life when you're one of the most important operators on the board. But ultimately, being able to remove Goddess out of that position, Slippery. I keep saying Slippery. I keep reading it phonetically. I'm trying to learn how to speak English. Slippery, moving Goddess from 90, gave the rest of his team the ability to push up the hallway and through the bar. Obviously, if the bar wall had been opened up, they would have had even more of an advantage at that point, but with it still being closed, they just had to win their fights. Well played by Cobra to entry in there, and well played, by the rest of the team to cover and go for the plant. Obviously, Slebin got a player trying to push through the study door at the same time, but the trades ultimately fell in the attacker's favor. And I think that's really what you want to see if you're attacking right now against the Soniqs on Villa. You want to win that, and you want to win it convincingly. We saw.
Yeah, 100%, and it definitely doesn't look good here, as we're gonna be seeing actually our first Maverick of the evening here being brought out by Yoji. So more than likely going to be using this in order to open up that bar wall or slash the wall into Aviator, as It looked like they had a little bit of trouble there trying to get that exothermic charge to go off onto the wall with those impact tricks and the bandit batteries denying that completely. No bandit this time. It's just going to be the mute of super to try to deny any sorts of entry in through bars. Looked like Kardama's drone just fell through the map there. Just a little bit of a spectator bug, but are going to just switch off of it in order to save the viewing pleasure. But either way, it looks like it's going to be another steady take from this attack.
Yeah, I think that this looks like a pretty normal attack, I'd say. No Thatcher being brought is kind of curious. Like, obviously, Maverick has a purpose and can open up the wall if need be. I really love this view from
Yeah, what a beautiful sunset.
I know.
Let's just enjoy this as we hear the drone just going around.
So, Kardama and Slippery once again downstairs taking control below to try to throw nades or Buck from below. I like the switch off of Sledge and onto Buck instead so we can do a little bit more vertical destruction this round. We're just going to have to see how Soniqs have adapted to the way that they're pushing. Oh, nice shot from Goddess. All the way from through the floor into living room. Those are the kinds of angles that you expect to see out of a team like Soniqs, and Goddess from position obviously helping out her team immensely. Super's position at the top of main stairs now could be played a little bit more safely. I think it's really all up to Yoji here and how Yoji, the Maverick, is whether or not they're going to win this round at this point, because Buck being off the board is a huge problem. Yoji wins the fight onto Neptunes. Not quite sure where he got that frag from, but the attack is seemingly fully focused on trying to take Goddess out. Yoji has to back out as Murdy does get picked back up. Cobra with the kill onto Super, so that is good. The wall now has been opened. And what is the defense going to do here? There really isn't much they can do. Goddess has to win this fight on down the 90 hallway if they want to even have a chance at winning the round, or at least use her Maestro cameras, which I believe have both been destroyed potentially. Goddess now rotating her way back to the top of red stairs, but looks like into the waiting arms of Kardama. Does she know that he's there? Yes, she does. And she
dropped. 15 seconds left.
As well, so Cobra now evens it back up into a 2v2. Goddess on very, very low health. Cobra almost winning that fight onto Gomfi. Gomfi needs to stay alive, but no. The plant has to go down now. There's very, very little time. Goddess could win if she just pushes. She's literally right behind looking for the spam through, but no. Cobra will win it out with a great cover onto Yoji. And Cobra now running away with this map. 15 kills for himself. My goodness, Cobra, go off.
Yeah, Cobra having one hell of a match indeed. Rocking that Zofia, and as well as the Jaeger on the defense, really carrying things up. And it looks like Senshi could be bringing this to match point anytime soon, turning Villa pretty much on its head, as this is normally a defensive sided map. Not really seeing much success from the defense at all. Looks like the Soniqs will finally choose to switch up the site, as that was the second time that they chose to go to Aviator and Games, this time going over to Trophy and Statuary Room. An interesting 6-pick here. Oh, it looks like Murdy will be doing the infamous Thermite to Thermite 6-pick. Because that's just, it always throws the team off. You know, they never expect a 6-pick like that.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't expect it.
I'm watching the match, and I still don't know what's going on. You know, like, that's how much Inception just happened there. Either way, though,
I'm just loving how confident Senshi is on attack.
Oh yeah, they're like calm, collected, and they're able to open up these angles that are kind of unexpected, I guess. I mean, it just seems like the Soniqs are just caught one step behind, reacting to what's happening in front of them. They don't have the intel, and maybe that's because, I don't know. I mean, they're bringing Gomfi on the Valkyrie, and they have the ops to gather intel, and they have the mute. They've been bringing the mute in order to deny intel outright from the attack. So it's interesting that they're not able to win out these fights. Maybe it's just gunfights going in favor of Senshi and just not going in favor of the Soniqs. But, I mean, either way here, now in round number 9, only one round off of match point here for Senshi. And it looks like we're going to be seeing this master take. This is the standard attack, I'd say, without a Mira for the site. We did see the Soniqs, however, come from that south side and through Aviator. Not going to be seeing the same from Senshi, as looks like Yoji is just looking for all those Valkyrie cameras. We did see the one Valkyrie camera get thrown on top of the fireplace, but it's hiding behind those plants. It's Where is it? Right there. Yeah. You can see it. It's hiding right behind the plants. It doesn't look like they're able to find it, though. So that's actually a 200 IQ spot. Yeah, look, Murdy is still looking for this Valkyrie camera.
Yoji just got hurt by something really badly. I don't know what it was. He just got dropped significantly in health. Might have been his teammate trying to shoot open the window.
It might have been, or pre-fires. I don't know. That's a good point. I'm not sure how he got so lit up, but I mean, either way here, it's going to be the full-on attack in through sight. As looks like Yoji was able to find one camera, but again, these holes above the breach, above that wall inside of Master, is going to deny any sort of exothermic charge getting placed onto it. So definitely got to be looking out for that. As it looks like Neptune's actually gets downed from below, possibly, or from somewhere. He finally gets finished off as a quick trade comes back and forth between these two teams.
Pre-placed Nitro does get thrown either from, like, it does get set off from either below or over the wall. Super will win the fight onto Yoji. Kardama and is immediately traded out by Murdy. Murdy now in a 1v3 has to try something, but that push was ultimately stopped in his tracks. I like the team tactics from the Astronomy window repel to kill the player inside of Astronomy, but not getting the wall open, even if you remove that player, like, this is the thing, like, I feel like this is overlooked by a lot of players, and that this is all levels of Rainbow Six, no matter what, like, your skill is. If you are able to open the wall, if you just open the wall with your hard breach, you now force defenders into positions that it's easier to anticipate where they are. Because if you don't open the wall, they don't have to worry about those lines of sight that they would normally have to worry about, so they can just rotate around and if you open the wall, separate the defenders by the reinforcement, and then pinpoint their locations one at a time, you can ultimately have more, like, coordinated attacks. And I think that even though they're able to take out that player on Astronomy and they pushing in, they still haven't opened the wall, so it's kind of like the defenders just holding angles to doorways and killing you no matter what. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you have to open up the wall to at least give you as much of an advantage as possible. Unless you're just straight gunners and you don't even bring a hard breach and you just run it all at the same time and kill everybody. But we're not going to see that typically at this level of play.
No, there's never really much run and gun. Like you said, at this level of play, there will be some matches, and I think that the Soniqs are probably one of those teams that sometimes they just like to go for that rush strategy. You know, they just like to surprise the defense. We haven't seen them actually do that at all today, which is very interesting to say the least. Possibly just playing a little bit more passively. They know that they're better than this team. A team in Senshi, which has yet to prove themselves, really. They're not a CL team. They haven't made it into CL. A couple of players which have been in CL, I do believe. I'm not going to get into that as I don't know all the statistics, but either way, they're an unproven team. You know, this is a team in the Soniqs which has been in PL, even EU, a couple players coming over from EU, so they don't need to prove themselves. They know what they're capable of, and they know that they don't really need to go for these extravagant type of plays in order to win this match.
Yeah, I think that Senshi is good. I mean, they're winning this map now. If they beat Soniqs on Villa, that's a big accomplishment. I'm just waiting for them to, you know, figure out their playstyle. I think we've seen a few things, like, sort of all over the place from them. Not to say that it's bad, but it looks like this could be a nice little rush strat, at least to get rid of Slebin out of this position. Opening up that wall is strange. Kardama with one onto Neptune, so that's a great pick. One of the C4s and a lot of information gathering off the board. Yoji trades it back onto Slebin, so this is ultimately working out for them. I feel like they need to at least start droning and slow down a little bit. Now that they have this advantage with a minute and a half left, they need to slow down, which is exactly what's happening. Gomfi, in a position where he could get caught out, is actually going to be rotating upstairs now, most likely to try to hold some angles from above onto the site, which there has been no pressure from the attack so far. Murdy now looked like he wants to open up that wall in the hallway, at least with his blowtorch. This could catch this defender off guard if they're not prepared for it. Now with that line of sight in the hallway established, things are looking good, but the Maverick Hole is getting fired back at. Super pushes into the hallway, takes Yoji back onto Super. Now Goddess, with 3 smokes canisters in hand, is going to be playing that same spot. Does see a couple of attackers rolling through, throws 1 smoke canister. Does he know that he's pushed in? But no, Slippery with a nice little push onto Goddess there to clean it up. So, you know, Senshi looking fantastic on Villa, at least on attack, bringing some unorthodox play to throw Soniqs off, and I think that's exactly what they need.
I don't think I've ever seen a straight push in through like library and reading room like that. Like they literally all attacked through the first floor and through that that northeast side of the map or northwest side of the map. I'm not sure
Or
which
just
side
attacking
it is.
vertically even.
Yeah, I mean they didn't attack vertically at all. Normally when the site's kitchen, you'll see control be taken from above. They decided to completely forego that strategy and I mean just straight go horizontal, which is definitely an interesting choice. And even choosing to open up that wall into Memorial, I've never seen that play in my life. Maybe bring a thermite next time and open it up entirely, but it seemed like the Maverick holes did the trick, you know.
I don't think opening up the wall there with the thermite would really have like serve much of a purpose in my opinion. I think the Maverick hole there is frustrating for the defenders to deal with, and I think that it's the right thing to do. After that, I feel like a wraparound into laundry and just opening up the wall normally, you know, is kind of like because with that angle he could see all the way through to that corner by the doorway. So it's kind of like you just hold that angle, no defenders rotate over, open the wall and go for the plant kind of thing. Obviously, it didn't get to that point because they had a huge advantage count going forward, but like attacking through there, opening up that wall into the hallway, and clearing out the defenders downstairs and upstairs and on the mid floor, not upstairs, but that was big. I thought that was well executed, and those are the kind of, like I said, unorthodox strats that the Soniqs aren't going to prepare for on maps like Villa. They're not going to prepare for that kind of stuff. They're anticipating the top down, you know, buck the floor a bunch, like kind of stuff, and Senshi have found their little niche in attacker at the moment to at least throw them off guard and to gain man count advantage very quickly. As you can see, they're just entering so fast and taking control very, very quickly, not even really worrying about any of the roaming defenders as they're already all the way upstairs, right up to the site doorway. They could just push right in. Slippery now looking like he wants to push in. Yes, he will, looking for that player in the vault. Kardama looking for him as well. Do they know that he's there? There is a trade there, unfortunately. Another TK over Kardama. Nice flick from Slippery. As is getting traded out by Goddess. They know that he's inside. They finally take him out, and the Soniqs come back out on top of all these trades. But Cobra pushing up the staircase could win another fight. No, he doesn't. Slebin taking him down, shutting it down. Wow. Yoji now last alive in this 3v1. It was a nice try by Senshi, but ultimately the Soniqs come out on top here.
Yeah, nice try to take them off guard, and a couple of nice shots there by the Buck, and ultimately it's Goddess to clean things up. But I mean, like we were saying, that was a nice effort by Senshi to try to take that aggressively, and I mean they had the right idea. There was pretty much nobody on site once they found those two players. It was pretty much clean sweep after that if they were able to get the pressure inside, get the diffuser down. But the roamers just coming back too quickly for the attack to be able to handle ends up going in favor of the Soniqs. So on match point 5-6, will we see overtime here on map number 2? It's definitely going to be interesting because I did forget to set the attacker side for overtime, and if I'm correct here, it looks like let's see, it looked like Senshi wanted to defend first on Villa, which wouldn't make much sense, I guess, since this has kind of gone in favor of the attackers, I'd say, so far. But I mean, we could see this last round, an even 3-3 split at the half, you know, on both halves. There was a 3-3 split in the first half. Could we see the 3-3 split in the second half?
I was just going to say, if they want to complain about it, they need to complain about it, and they just have to play it out. So
yeah, if it does get to that and they don't get the right choice, I mean, we can definitely rehost. That's definitely something that was done. That was my bad. Hopefully they get the right choice randomly, you know? Hopefully like the random just gives them defense and we don't even have to worry about it. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. And if it does end up going that way, it's definitely my bad, you know? And we're going to have to rehost, which is, that'll suck.
Can we show the scoreboard again real quick?
Of course, of course.
Yeah, so Cobra and Slippery pulling lots of weight for their team. Goddess with actually 10 frags, which is something we don't normally see.
Yeah.
On that hard support role, but she's playing an excellent match. So it was a pre-placed C4 before. If there was any question about it, that C4 going off, and it was pre-placed by Super. Obviously, we're gonna have to see a different kind of attack come out from Senshi this round. And I say that because the last time they attacked up here wasn't very good for them, and I think I think that's part of why Soniqs are trying to defend up here again in the trophy games room.
Yeah, it was kind of it was aggressive plays, I guess. No, you're right. Yeah. It was aggressive plays by the Soniqs that were able to win them this round. This is probably the most decisive win that we were able to see here on their own defenses. Sleben, oh no, he's gonna go for the peek here on the balcony. Is he gonna be able to catch anybody though? No, it doesn't look like anybody's sitting at that window when he goes for the punch, but could go back to their late round if he does so choose, as we still have about half of it left remaining. And again, just angles being held here by Senshi. They're waiting for mistakes to be making by the Soniqs. But knowing the Soniqs and how experienced they are, they're not going to give away any free picks to this attack. They're going to wait for them to make their push into sight, and then they're going to pounce on to those players. But still a lot of utility actually coming in through the floor. Sleben finds one. Couple of trades actually back and forth, as it's now a 4v2, so looking like overtime is going to be the move here between these two teams, as we're going to be seeing if any of these players on attack are going to be able to push back. But no, Sleben finds himself a double on the round, leaves things all up to Kardama on the Ash, but it looks like he might even take the tactical pause here, the unofficial tactical pause, and just going to wait outside the building. So again, hopefully hopefully the parameters are going to go the right way, you know.
Yeah, this is definitely a round win for the Soniqs. I want to point out that once again, a lot of pressure was being applied to Neptune's astronomy, and literally all those players were killed at the bottom of astronomy stairs by Sleben and Goddess, and then Goddess from above. Like, they all just tried to come and open up the floor below Neptune's to remove him from that position. And once again, it's just like, you know, they didn't bring a thermite, so obviously they didn't even want to try to get the wall time. They brought the Maverick again, but
10 seconds to go.
I feel like without fully clearing the downstairs, it's either you fully clear the downstairs and then do that with someone like inside of master and bathroom like they were playing, or you open up the wall and have someone watch flank and you just push the site. Like you have two choices there, and I feel like they're just falling victim to like tunnel visioning onto one person they're trying to kill, and then just focusing on everything on them like at the same time, which sometimes works, I think. But I feel like Soniqs is a team that, like, okay, they attacked from below last time, so let's these holes to wait for them, and then, you know, they're just waiting for them and just get free kills.
Now the parameters were not set correctly, which I mean obviously makes a little bit of sense here because I didn't set them. So it doesn't look like either of the teams though are gonna have a problem with it. So I mean it doesn't really matter. I mean both the halves went even, like to attack, and like both the attack won 6 rounds and the defense also won 6 rounds on both sides. You know, it wasn't like one side was favored over the other. So it's even. You know, like it's all up to who can win these last 2 rounds in order to either send it to us to a third map, which I will remind you, if you are just joining us, the first map did go in favor of the Susquehanna Sonic 7-3 on Coastline, which was Senshi's map choice, Villa being the choice of the Soniqs. So if each other are able to win the opposing team's map pick, that would definitely make for an interesting affair, you know, with the third map being Clubhouse, our decider.
I think that Clubhouse is really up in the air.
Oh, yeah.
It's really up in the air for me at this point. I think that Senshi, given the operators that they've been playing on their attacks on Villa, if they just, you know, cookie cutter those same operators, they could easily, you know, just play a standard Clubhouse and potentially win it out. I think that it's going to come down to whether if this does go to Clubhouse, honestly, I think that it's all going to depend on whether or not Senshi bans Capitao if Soniqs are on attack, because we saw how effective Soniqs were when they were on attack and had Capitao at their disposal when they were playing at the USN, and then after that they, you know, it was banned and they had a much more difficult time on attack. It's a nice camera outside. Sleben could potentially go for a run out onto anybody that's just not paying attention or aware that Valkyrie is even available. Obviously the Nomad is in place to potentially help with that endeavor. However, where the air jabs are placed are definitely going to be a huge influencing factor in this round, depending on where the defenders are trying to rotate and what they have available to them.
I think this is the first time that we've seen Nomad be brought on this map. Not an operator that you see get played too much, depending on the team. She's always, of course, useful because she can cut off any rotation that she wants, and she sends anybody flying through the air when they do try to rotate, giving them a free kill, essentially, but hasn't been really as utilized as it would have been, I think, on Coastline, where she was banned out. So going to be seeing how useful she is now that she's able to be played. And looks like we're going for a little bit of a Maverick trick here, as that's going to be Murdy trying to open up these angles. Oh, no, he's not doing this right. He's not doing it right. He needs a little bit of a look into the book of Obey for tricking. Super, what are you doing? He just runs into master bedroom without any intel and tries to go for the pick onto the Maverick, but ultimately loses his life because of it, and not the play there for the mute.
Yeah, this Maverick is curious to see. Honestly, covered very well, and that's trying to push in, but at the moment, it's not going to get them in. Oh, the back and wait to win the round at this point. If they can't come through the wall or like open up an angle or anything, I understand bringing Nomad is there to try to help with the flank from below. I get it, but Sonic seeing the Nomad and understanding where it's being positioned, they're not going to walk into that. Got us with one onto Cobra, Slevin with another onto Kardama, Slevin with a third onto Slippery. Second, I'm sorry, for him at least. And now, you know, a couple of attackers are in the site, but it's 2v4, and Yoji's not really in position to help his teammates. Yoji pushing through Astronomy. He's going to try to go for it. A bunch of fake plants going off. Once C4 gets thrown, Gompi with the kill onto Yoji, and then Neptune to Murdy from... Yeah, that... It's not... These attacks onto Trophy are not looking like the best for Senshi. They're trying to adapt and figure out what to do by applying a lot of pressure from below, but it just doesn't seem to be effective, at least in terms of their positioning. I think that they're going to have to go back to the strat book and figure out what they're doing wrong. Watch this VOD back so that they understand, because, I mean, like, I'm not saying I know what they need to do to win, but what I'm saying is that what they're doing isn't working, and the Sonics are picking up on it, and they're just picking that site over and over again, knowing that they don't know how to attack it very well.
Yeah, it definitely isn't good, because you were on match point for...
You're muted, by the way, Razor, just in case you didn't.
Yeah, I appreciate that. They were on match point for a total of two straight rounds there, as they were up 6-4 at one point, and it just wasn't the... It just didn't seem like it was the... like it was working out for them. Every time they tried to attack, it just seemed like you said, the Sonics had that answer. And now that we're in overtime, the Sonics winning that first round, putting themselves on to match point and series point here, looking to move on to the second round. They definitely don't want to have to play a map number 3 here on Clubhouse. They want to try to get this over with and move on to Tempo Storm, which is the team awaiting the winner of this matchup, which we will be following in suit. And I will have a spectator by that game, so nice. That should make it should make I shouldn't mute or deafen myself as often. You know, I might still do it a little bit, but hopefully it doesn't happen as much. Looking at this round, it's going to be attack, of course, for the Sonics, and bringing that same lineup that they've been bringing. Neptune's just hard stuck on the Thatcher role. Gonna be looking for any rotating through Memorial. I would assume we're gonna be seeing somebody pushing it aggressively through here. It looks like that's gonna be, I'm not sure. It looks like maybe Slevin's job to try to rotate in through Kitchen.
Yeah, Slevin looking for those roamers on the side of Senshi. Could potentially pinpoint one. There is one playing by the bikes in that doorway. This door has been closed, however, and he's going to need some drone intel from his teammates to at least pinpoint Cobra's position. This is what we saw that other round that we didn't get to see from the spectator position that we were on. Cobra was playing in living room and eventually dropped down patch, obviously waiting for Slevin's entry. That drone position there most likely saw him rotate, and that's playing there. Some wallbangs coming out from Cobra as he's going to try and sneak his way back into the kitchen through the barricaded doorway. That could be the play, as Kardama is distracting, but now that Cobra has been tracked, he's going to have to rotate away and just try to waste some time. Hopefully he won't get pinched from above, as it looks like Slevin is going to be on the pursuit, but not quite sure where the rest of Senshi's team is located, not knowing whether he's safe or not. obviously rotating all the way downstairs, waiting for some kind of a rotation. There isn't a lot of intel for him to go off of as he's going to gather more. Jaeger playing at the bottom of Astronomy Stairs is going to get pointed out. He's going to wait for the next ping to try to find his location. Slebin now moving back through the living room, trying to locate any of the defenders playing below to try to stop with the C4. As the bar wall has been opened up, things are looking good for Soniqs in this round with about a minute 15 seconds left. They have established a lot of control.
Yeah, establishing that control definitely big here. Oh my god, man. Of course I'm always muted. It's definitely establishing that control, which is like a big part in this attack. And with only a minute left, as it looks like it's going to be all left up to these anchors on site. A lot of time actually being wasted by these roamers. Slebin still downstairs inside a piano. He's just waiting for these peaks to come out from Kardama and Krober. They're waiting for them to make a mistake, but oh, he's actually able to rotate right past the angle that Slebin was holding. It looks like Slebin saw him last second, is not going to be able to find the kill under Kardama. So a free rotate for the Mozzie as Slebin is left trying to pick away the pieces. I'm just waiting to see what he'll do next. With 30 seconds left, this push has to come out. And with the smoke playing close behind the bar, Goddess has no idea. The trades come out, though. It's a 3v4 for the attack with 20 seconds left. Make that a 2v4 as it's all left up to Neptunes. He'll find one inside the bar. Super playing inside the classical hallway, I do believe.
Unfortunately, you muted yourself again as Neptunes is going to be challenging. Super now chasing the player onto the red stairs. And the Soniqs... Oh, the defenders won that. Okay, I was about to say,
yeah.
Did Soniqs win that? That was close. Honestly, that was a really weird position for Slebin to be in. Obviously, he saw Mob staircase at just the last second, like Ed, but not knowing whether he could push right away, or thinking that maybe if he pushed forward, that he was going to get fragged from somebody else trying to push from that same location. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it was a very dicey round on both sides, but traded out very well by Senshi, and I think that they had the answer for that defense from the had the answer on that defensive side, and now the Soniqs finally having to pick a different defensive location to defend that Senshi have had success on before. No Maverick being brought this time. Super sixth picking. What's he gonna pick? Bandit? Mute? Smoke? Okay. Good choice.
Of course he's going to go with the SMG, He has to. But yeah, I mean, either way, it looks like we're going to be seeing overtime match point here. And with the defense now being in favor of the Soniqs, I mean, these last two rounds have gone defensive sided. So could we finally see this go in favor of the Soniqs as well? I mean, honestly, not too sure. But, I mean, either way here, it's going to be the Aviator in Games Room for the Soniqs. Did they not win this? What site did they go to the first round of defense in overtime? Was it Statue? Yeah, it was Statue, I guess.
Yeah, I liked the way that Senshi attacked this before. They were able to establish 90 control via the window and study very quickly. Obviously, the plays from down below ultimately didn't work out for them at some point. And that's just Soniqs reading into it and adapting to the way that they do things. But bringing the Thermite and just ultimately making sure that they get that study control and that pressure applied to the wall to force a defender to waste utility trying to stop the Thermite from going off. And I like this hole from Slebin above that doorway. That's a common entry point for a lot of attackers on this map, and so they could easily be caught off guard there. But he's actually going to rotate his way back down, obviously anticipating something weird. Kardama looking through the hole that he got killed through before by Goddess, obviously not wanting to fall victim to it 2 times in a row. And, Goddess just waiting, biding her time, noticing that there is some pressure being applied from the 90 window, and Gomfi playing the top of red stairs, Slebin covering his back. So a lot of defensive cover on the back side of things, as the attackers have literally used a minute to gain map control, have not tried to open the wall yet, and that's the next step. That's what they need to do. They need to open the wall if they want to make this attack work.
Yeah, and it looks like the only person here to deny it is going to be Neptunes. Does have 2 of those impacts left remaining, so he could go for the impact trick if need be. And it looks like he will be doing that just momentarily, as looks like Murdy is actually going for the wall any second now. No, it looks like he's just going to do a little bit more drone, just waiting for that Legion to come off of the wall. He's going to lose his drone in the process, but Murdy going to be placing it on the wall. Neptunes, are you going to be able to trick this off? Yes, it looks like the successful impact trick comes out from Neptunes. That's going to be one exothermic charge off the board here, and it's going to make this a lot harder for them to enter in through this wall. The second one is successfully tricked off as well, so both exothermic charges off the board. Oh no, he could get this kill for free onto the player on red stairs if he's just able to get that angle on his foot, just pixelating through the wall, through the floor. That's actually unfortunate.
Yeah, he sees his foot. If he just was going to open the hatch and rotate up, but Slevin's obviously going to move off. Now that the wall can't get opened up, the defenders are going to play even more passive and more in a more safe manner. Getting rid of that drone now. Oh, Gomfi, or excuse me, Slevin going for the shots under Kama does end up downing him. Well played by him, as now Slevin could go for a rotate, but is just going to hold the back of red stairs. All the onto two different doorways that the attackers are trying to push through. Cobra going for taking a fight onto Super, will end up winning it. And now Cobra playing in the hallway is going to try to push in, but no, Neptune's just waiting for him. Gomfi with another, Slevin with one more. And it's all up to Slippery, who's going to lose the fight to Goddess, as they all applied pressure at the same time. Unfortunately, none of them winning their fights. Well played by the Soniqs, and well played by Senshi as well. That game was a lot closer than I think anybody expected. And I think they should feel good about their performance, especially against the Soniqs, who just did play at a LAN and have had tons and tons of practice together now as a team and are looking pretty solid on Villa, like I thought they would be.
Yeah, Villa definitely one of the maps that you not really wanting to take the Soniqs to. But yeah, either way, it will be the Soniqs winning out that map, and that will be the first matchup